Check out this episode of the Patch Notes from the Pre-Patch Podcast.
Now we mentioned a lot about Silent Hill, and coincidentally, I give that game hollow body props because they literally launched right around the same time that Silent Hill 2 remake came out. And the Silent Hill 2 remake launched this week. You could pay a little bit extra, $10 more, and actually play it early. But I picked it up.
Stupid.
And
don't know why you would do that for a single player game.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would do that, period. And support shitty game practices.
Well, I see people like hardcore gamers doing it for competitive games, but that's stupid too.
Yeah.
For my take. Either way.
Okay, so this game, like, if you're a silent, like for me, I grew up playing Silent Hill and I grew up playing Resident Evil, but I loved Silent Hill. Silent Hill was my horror game of choice. I like outside of Resident Evil Code Veronica, I didn't really care about Resident Evil that much. Like it just was not my thing. So being in that camp and watching Resident Evil fans across the street from me get all this love and being like their fucking remakes and all of their fucking games coming out, and me being with Silent Hill going like, well, where the fuck is my Silent Hill game? Like, when do I
hit that box?
Yeah, why not?
Dude, there was no yellow paint on that box. You can't break that.
If you're watching my playthrough and you watch this, I break every fucking window I possibly can. But this game, it is such a love letter to Silent Hill and Silent Hill 2 specifically. Like for Silent Hill fans, it's that 2 is by far probably the best out of all of the series.
It's the best.
Like
it's just 2 or 3.
See, 2 for me. Like
2 for me.
I love 2. I didn't mind 3. I don't get me wrong.
2 was the first one I played. Actually, I never even played 1.
But
I loved the shit out of 2 though.
Never played any of them. So
you absolutely should, and you should
do
play
yourself
this.
a favor,
dude. Like it's so.
Now, would you recommend? I know, like obviously, games they age, but would you recommend somebody if never playing a Silent Hill game play this remaster remake version, or actually go back and try like the older Silent Hills?
So
what would you say?
I would say that I think playing Silent Hill 1 for nostalgia purposes of what Silent Hill 1 is great. The problem is if you play. So obviously one of the big things that they did here is, they've updated some quality of life things, right? Like they should, right? Like it's got the,
like Resident Evil did.
Yeah. I mean, they've chosen to go this very like over the shoulder fucking, kind of angle with it. You're not going to have
Alan Wake.
Yeah. You're not going to have all of these like crazy, different camera angles or whatever. But, other than that, like they stick very true to Silent Hill 2, right? Like they, story beats, fucking ambiance. I mean, one of the biggest fucking things in this is the sound, dude. Like you're listening to it and there's not been a game in a long time, if I would think almost ever, that I think hits as hard as what this game does when it comes to sound. Silent Hill always did something cool with the radio and the static. Like if you were around an enemy, you're hearing, like you pick up a radio and you're hearing static.
It's so
being
creepy,
played.
Dude. It's so scary.
And it is. And you don't know where it's at and where it's coming from. Like you just all of a sudden hear static. And I also love the fact that in old games, fog was everywhere. And the reason they did fog was because it was a limitation of the systems. Like you couldn't render games farther. And so they were just like, well, fuck it. We're going to put fog. A big, like, look at Spyro. They do it all the time.
I was gonna note, like in this game, like obviously they still made the fog super heavy, but what I watched of this game, it looks gorgeous, and I think that it has a big fucking play on the fog because you can hide load times with fog,
right?
And you can make everything in your surrounding look just beautiful, like the reflections and what is the SSR, right? It looks just gorgeous.
Yeah. So Silent Hill decided to take that game and go back in the day and go, well, we're going to make fog a fucking element of the game. So you can't see, what's going on around you. And the fog is a character in this game. So to answer your long-winded answer your question, I would absolutely say if you could only choose one game to play, I would say play the remake. Like it is, it's just,
fair.
It's so fucking good, man. But it's the sound in this game. I just cannot speak highly enough. Like as you're moving around, like things are squishing, things like are fucking, like you can hear skittering noises. You hear the static randomly. Like you'll hear screams off in the background. It just, there's a part of this game where you stick your hand in a fucking hole, and like it's the sound that the hole is making makes you just go, this is not comfortable. Like, I am not the fact that this dude's sticking his fucking arm in a dank, nasty, disgusting hole in the wall, but the fact that he's sticking in there and just hearing like this, like just, I don't know, man. It's just fucking great. Like, the game is phenomenal.
You weren't kidding about these windows, man. You are a
I
menace
smashed
to
every single
society
fucking
right
one.
now.
I smashed every single fucking window that's in it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, they you know, they don't I have not yet been overloaded with like health items and all of that kind of stuff. You know,
So it's still challenging.
Yeah, it's still challenging. They tell you that you should play on controller. I'm playing on mouse and keyboard, fully fine. Like, I think it's really great, customizable controls. So that's awesome. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm fully loving it. I know, Enigma, you said like the camera angle was giving you some, or the camera was giving you some.
Just on that one, there was like one little section. I think it was like right here, like right around here, where like the camera, I don't know, it like zoomed in on the enemy or something like that, and I was like, oh, that was a little abrupt.
I think it was whenever you get grabbed and then like you have to struggle out of it.
There was just one section of it where I was like, oh, okay, that kind of gave me a little bit of motion sickness, but it was just, it's whatever.
Yeah,
it looks all right.
I get motion sickness extremely easily these days, so
it's and actually
old, bro.
In that scene there, to speak to like why this game is so eerie and what it does so well with it is, so you saw me like hit the door and like the door flung open. Well, the reason I didn't go through it was obviously there was windows on the other end I needed to smash, but no,
obviously
as soon as I hit that door, you hear a faint crackling of the radio. And then when I smashed the window, the radio got real loud. And so I knew that there was an enemy there, but I couldn't see him. They did such a good job of like making sure that like you can't see.
The hell did that rat do to you, bro? Yeah.
That wasn't a rat. It was a fucking, it's like this like cockroach, like biological bug thing. That beetle.
I remember those in the original game.
Yeah.
Those things are creepy.
Yeah,
it looks cool. I mean, I think they did a really good job with it. I think because I've watched Resident Evil 2, the original one, and I think the graphic update.
I know you did not just call my fucking game Resident Evil.
Whatever, same thing, same thing.
He looks like Leon Kennedy from the back. I'm just saying.
Throw something.
I've watched them, and the fucking graphics update is legit. Like, I think they did a really good job with it. So
yeah, I mean, this is done by.
You're a menace. You just what's the purpose of busting every window? Like,
I mean, like so at first I was just like, oh, it's gonna let me break windows. I'm gonna fucking break every single window. And then I started but then you break windows and you can find certain stuff behind them. And then on top of that, I also realized that you can break windows in buildings that you can get into. And you can hop through them, and then you can also see into them to see like, hey, is there something that I'm not seeing?
That's cool. It actually serves a purpose.
Yeah. This is basically did you guys ever, when you were playing The Division, did you ever go around and close doors?
I did not close.
Oh yeah, on the cars, on the vehicles.
Yeah, on the cars. I did that all the time, bro. Like, I was like, nope, that's shut. That's shut, dude. That one's shut.
Yeah. The last, you just go by and your arm just goes out.
The last thing that I'll say about the game, and we can move on, is kind of like you were talking about, Scruffy, with Vendor Plague of Lies. This is one of the things that, and this game has got overwhelmingly positive reviews, by the way, but some of the criticism where people are like, well, it's so linear. Like, it's just so like, just, you know, you get these things and it's puzzle pieces, but it's just, you can't just free roam.
Welcome to old gaming.
And I'm like, it is, if they would have done something different, I think that it would have really done a disservice to what this game is, right?
Yeah,
now in the new Silent Hills, they want that, do that, but like there's a very nostalgic and also like just a nice feeling to be like, hey, like it's not, I know where I need to go, and I can explore around in areas, but like I don't have to fucking just go everywhere I want to go, anywhere anytime I want, and there'll always be shit. You know what I mean? Like,
is it a one-to-run remake, or is it like, did they add stuff to it?
From what I'm remembering, yes, it is a 1-to-1 remake. Now, don't quote me on it. I have not gotten all the way through it. Obviously, I just started. But like this area is this is all stuff that I remember. Now, again, I don't know if it's just like, hey, obviously this enemy is in this spot, right? But like the narrative beats and stuff like that, and like the town, and like I remember going to Nellie's bar and all that. That is all been the same. So
Go
I
ahead.
I think they can get away with a little bit of variation. I think they can make both camps happy.
They have
and
changed stuff. It looks like
They have changed stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It looks like
'Cause
redesigned some of the boss fights. More active combats, a longer
I mean,
run
with
time.
the
So apparently
the
they added in
camera
some
angle
more.
change, they probably have to redo
Well, I'm
some
talking with like
stuff.
map design and all that stuff too, because like I don't
I'm
want
not
to compare
seeing
it to the
anything with, like,
Resident Evil
map
remakes because I
design.
don't want to like piss you off or anything. But
I thought the
Wait,
map
this isn't
design was
Resident
like
Evil? I
pretty.
thought this was Resident Evil.
I fucking hate you.
Mm,
No,
but like with Resident Evil 4,
Leon
it
Kennedy.
it took the big story beats and like stuff from the original game, and then it kind of reworked the map. Like there's some familiar set pieces, there's some new set pieces. Like it's a good like
I
conglomeration of
I,
old and new, like fan
I
service
agree with
and
Billy.
new expansive environment. And they made it so that the city opened up and you can kind of wander through the village as you like want.
So they apparently they've added in 10 hours worth of gameplay. They doubled the original gameplay. It was 10 hours. The original one was 10 hours. This is 20 hours. And they've done that by adding in several hours of playtime, which results in greater levels, stronger story moments. They've also added in additional endings.
Interesting.
There's already like 6 endings in the original, so
Yeah. So
I mean,
Interesting.
again, I don't, I think I agree with you, Bill. And I would say like what people are saying in chat, like if they do like a Silent Hill, like if they do the next one, right? Or they want to do like a remake, where this is obviously a remaster, right? Or this is a remake. What the fuck did they label this as? Is this? I think
this
they
is
just
a
labeled
remake.
a
Yeah.
remake.
A remake. Yeah.
Yeah, like just like Resident Evil 2 did in 3.
Yeah. I mean, I don't just the nostalgia for me, I'm okay. Just like with Dead Space, right? Like I was completely okay with that being like almost like a beat for beat kind of, remake. And I'm
Dead
okay
Space was 100% beat for beat, and that's why I was
It
asking
was,
kind of
yeah.
about this one.
Was that still labeled a remake too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This is close to a remake. Like it is beat for beat, but there's like some differences. Unlike what I feel like Resident Evil 2, they changed that game quite a bit from the original. That's where my like kind of gripe came in, like because I love Resident Evil 2, my favorite game of all time. But like when you remake a game like that, they change so much, adding the new camera angles in and everything, and then adding the whole Mr. X factor. That threw it off for me, and I couldn't enjoy it out of it.
Jesus.
But something like this, even though they did change the camera, it still feels close enough to me to the original Resident Evil that I could probably get into it, camera beside.
I can understand where you're coming from with that, but I also kind of like when these remakes do stuff like that, like really push like with Resident Evil 2, where they do the genre switch. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna lose out on a nostalgia factor to some extent, but you're always going to have that original to go back to. If what you're wanting is that original style gameplay, they're not going to take that away from you. But the new experience might be something that can bring new fans into the series if they didn't like how the old one played.
I have a hatred for Mr. X. I think it was unnecessary feature added to the game. But you know what I actually did see that I want to play Resident Evil 2 remake now is there's a mod that introduces the original camera angles to the game.
They have
it
that
takes
for
third
this
person
too.
away.
That's fucking dope.
I might have to play that then, dude. Like even in this and Resident Evil,
the mod community is already like taking to this. Like,
that's awesome.
Like a moth to flame. Like it's just
sick.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
There you go. They've actually changed the face to match back to like the original. And actually, the game, I will give it this too. The game has a 90s mode where you can change because obviously now you have like RTX and all this other kind of crap. They're like, hey, you want to go back to look like the old school lighting? Cool, 90s mode, and it just drops everything fucking down to make it look like old school. So,
just real fast, you broke that window, and a cloth was underneath, as if the window was already broken.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, bro. You're watching people in latex fucking suits with no face or arms scurry around for fucking cars.
I'm just saying, who
puke
built
up on
that
me,
window
and you want to
on top
fucking
of
worry
a
about the
cloth?
window?
That's just bad
Bad design?
architecture.
Yeah,
bad
it is
design, man.
All right. Okay. Well, again, Silent Hill 2 worth every $70 that you're going to spend for it. You can get it on
$70.
$70.
Oh
You can get it on.
God.
You can get
For
it
a
on
remake? What?
Steam and
That's
everything.
crazy.
Imagine.
That's
I'm sorry,
outrageous.
That's insane.
That's
No, that's
outrageous.
crazy.
I'm joshing. Yeah.
I'm
No,
not.
I do agree.
I
I agree completely. That's
I got
fucking
shit
insane.
on my Resident Evil 4, and
Yeah,
well,
that
it
is
wasn't $70.
insane.
Oh my God.
That Demon Souls was though.
You get 10 extra hours worth of fucking gameplay. Leave me alone. It's fucking well worth it.
Thanks again for checking out the Patch Notes, part of the Pre-Patch Podcast, which we do live every Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Or you can check us out on anchor.fm/Pre-Patch Podcast or any place that podcasts are listened to. Thanks again. Much love.